Thank you all so much. I want to say one of the wonderful things about being in the movie business is that you get to meet so many funny and smart people, like Caroline Rhea. But what you don't very often get to meet are people as funny and smart as Caroline, who are as kind and good as Caroline. Thank you so much for your kind remarks. The other thing I must say I love about the business, having grown up in West Texas in Midland, is that is that the business takes you to all kinds of amazing places. I mean, I got to come here to make a film, and next to Midland, this is like Venice. And I got to go to England, and after I made my first film, which was Emma, we were invited to show the film at the White House. President Clinton asked us to come show the film at the White House. So we went, and I understand they've redone the screening room since then, but at the time, the screening room was a little scruffy. It seats about 30 people, and outside the screening room there are two kind of card tables set up, and there's popcorn bags on the card tables, the buttered table and then the unbuttered table. And behind the tables is a kind of deranged-looking Marine who appears to have been reassigned from more strenuous duty, just sort of, passing out the bags, the butter, you want the butter, you want the plain, you get the plain. And I just thought, well, I'm not going to take popcorn at the White House. It just seems tacky, even though I'm always hungry. So we go into the screening room, and President Clinton wanted to sit with Gwyneth, who was the star of the movie, and with me. And so he introduced me, and then I introduced the film. And then we sat down, and he likes to sit in the front row. So we all had to sit with him in the front row, and it was, he was in the center, and then Gwyneth to his left, and then her, as they like to say, then boyfriend. Brad Pitt was to the far left. And then on his right, I sat, and then Jane, my wife, sat next to me. And I was so excited because Emma begins with these beautiful, kind of charming, hand-painted credits. Really beautiful, and I thought, I'm so excited for President Clinton to see my charming, hand-painted credits. And the lights start to go down, and I mean, at the second those lights start dimming, he plunges forward and starts groping around under his seat, and then pulls up 2 bags of the popcorn. And I'm telling you, an eating process began then that was more shocking than anything I've seen in my entire life. And I was present for the birth of our son. I worked on a ranch in West Texas where the eating was quite vivid. I have never seen anything like this. Hurling the popcorn, it was like he had not eaten since Nixon resigned. The 2 bags, working the 2 bags, hurling it in, was like out of the corner of my eye. I was like, what, the charming hand-painted credits, what are you doing? There is a hailstorm of popcorn going past my head into his mouth. And I'm like, Gwyneth, look, all the Jane Austen, what are you doing? One of the pieces, one of the little unpopped pieces, a kernel, hit my cheek. It was like being hit by shrapnel. A little piece of flesh came off. So finally, he wads up he licked the bag, everything, then puts it under his seat. So I thought, all right, dude, you've missed the charming hand-painted credits, but now you'll listen to the sparkling Jane Austen dialogue that I retyped. But no, he didn't do that. Hand goes into the pocket, the jacket pocket, and out of the pocket, he pulls out a can of soda, which I noted with some admiration that he opened just with the thumb. I've always wanted to do that, and I can't do it. Anyway, he did it, cracked that soda open, and then puts it back, and he does not remove the can from his lips until every ounce of it is inside somewhere in his body. So then he puts that under his seat, and I thought, all right, you happy? So I thought, all right, now the sparkling Jane Austen dialogue that I retyped. And the weird thing about watching a film at the White House with the president is in the front row is that nobody watches the movie. They just watch the president watching the movie. Now, Emma is one of the great comic novels in English literature, and there's a lot of very funny things that happen in it. But if they're not listening to it, they're just watching President Clinton. So, if there was a joke and he laughed, about a half a second later, everybody would laugh. If there was a joke and he didn't laugh, it was like you were at a child's funeral. It was like the saddest kind of quiet room that you've ever been in. So I'm like, hey, dude, chuckle it up. They're all looking at you. And about 3 minutes into the movie, but not 4, just 3 at the latest, I noticed, because I'd seen the movie a lot and I wasn't really paying much attention to it. I was trying to watch him peripherally out of the side of my eyes. I noticed there was a kind of lurching motion, and he kind of lurched toward me, lurched forward, and then pitched back and dropped his head on the back of his chair and went to sleep. I'm telling you, a dead sleep. Russian troops could have come into Washington and they would not have disturbed him. Lincoln saw more of that play at Ford's Theater than President Clinton saw of my movie in a deep sleep. And I thought, all right, look, I'm not going to hold it against him. He's the leader of the free world. God knows what he's been doing all day. I'm sure it's been, I'm sure it had been a draining experience for him. And the guy was tired. I can't blame him. It's not like I had an action film to show him. Our idea of an action sequence in Emma is, it's Emma poured hot tea. So I just thought, all right, give him a break. But, like 20 seconds passes, which is like 7 years. And because the audience is thinking, well, now do we have to go to sleep? They're all just watching him. And after about 20 seconds, he was doing that thing whenever you fall asleep, which may be happening now, for people where you fall asleep and you think, where am I? And I know he was thinking, oh my God, where am I? What am I? Oh, I'm at that movie. Because all of a sudden, out of a dead sleep, he lurches forward and goes, no! And he looks over at me, and I'm just looking at the screen like I had no idea you were asleep. Look at the pretty English field. I just pretended I had no idea he'd been asleep, but he didn't want to leave it at that. So he takes my arm, we shared an armrest, and he takes my arm, and he squeezes it, and he says, I love this movie. It's all right. And, I'm like, whatever. It's fine. I'm pretending I don't even know you're here. Whatever. And he squeezes my arm again. He goes, I mean it. I just love it. I love it. I'm like, dude, I'm voting for you. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. It's fine. But he could not leave it at that. So he leans over one last time and he says, sometimes the language is so beautiful, I have to shut my eyes and let the words wash over me. I mean, that is why you want to be in this business, to be a part of an evening like that. And this evening is another reason you want to be a part of this business. So great, so warm, so welcoming. I want to thank the Austin Film Society and Rebecca Campbell and Sarah Ann Mockbee and Wilson and all the people who have looked after me so nicely. I thank them for their kindness and for the lapse of judgment in asking me among such distinguished people. I want to thank my old friends, the Terrells, Liz and Ed and Franklin, for their hospitality and lifelong friendship. I would not be in this business today without my friend Liz Terrell, who got me my first job at Saturday Night Live. I want to thank my beloved sister, Mary McGrath Abrams, who came from Dallas to be here, and whose incredible intelligence and hilarious wit and enormous heart is an example to me and my brother, especially my brother, every day. And finally, I want to thank my wife, Jane, who's with us, who, among her many virtues, whose kindness and patience my son and I call on every day. You have all made us feel so welcome. On behalf of Jane and Mary and myself, I thank you so much for this lovely night.